Ayo, it is Isaro Senpai here, and today we are continuing What If Deku Was Experimented On, and yeah, sorry if it might sound a little weird. I'm actually trying to see if it sounds better with or without my headphones, so I ain't using my headphones right now to record this, so it's gonna depend on, well, how I judge the video, because I'm going to watch some of it after I post it, because no matter what, I'm still posting it, even if it sounds kind of crappy, because, you know, it's a test run, and who knows, you guys might like it better this way. But, yeah, let's continue. So, where we left off last time, Izuku and Eri are in front of the in front of 1A, inside of UA. And they are about to enter because they have passed their entrance exam, with Deku having the top score and Eri being pretty close. She's in the top 10, but not in second place. Just because, like, there's people like Bakugo there. And Eri's a little bit more shy, so she's not gonna, you know, go crazy. Like, Deku did when he broke his arm with cannon, you know. Well, Izuku, he grabs the door, and he opens it. The first thing he sees is a blue-haired boy chopping his hand up and down, yelling, "Quit being disrespectful, this is school property. You need to be respectful to school property, especially since this is UA." And he is saying this to no one other than Katsuki Bakugo. Because even though Bakugo is a lot nicer in this one, he's still gonna a little bit have that arrogance. Because, you know, you can't have Bakugo without arrogance, you know? Of course, he's going to be nicer and stick up for the little people. Like, not Mineta because he's a pervert. Like, just no. But, so they walk in, and Ida sees this. He runs up to Izuku and says, "Hello, I'm so sorry for, getting mad, yelling at you for, not yelling at you. I'm so sorry for disrespecting you and blah blah. You must have known a lot more than me because you know the extra part of the exam of the extra points and hero points, and you got the top score, so I'm sorry." And then Izuku says, "I'm sorry, but I didn't know that part of the exam. I was just helping save people, and when I saw my friend Eri get in trouble, I just stepped in. Like, just nothing more than that." And Ida says, "Oh, okay, sorry, man, well, that's cool." He walks off, no. But, Deku, he's about to go sit down, and Eri wants to sit beside him. He says, "Sure, you can sit beside me, you know, like always." So Eri walks over and is following Deku. Deku sits behind Bakugo, so Eri would sit right across from Izuku, because she wanted to be near him, because, you know, she won't feel safe. And, you know, Bakugo turns around and says, "Hey, nerd, so, how you think you did in the exam anyways?" Izuku says, "I'm pretty sure I got I'm pretty sure I got at least into the top 10. I mean, I don't know if I got first, because they didn't explain that for some reason. I mean, they probably should have, but they didn't say anything about it in the letter. So yeah." And they're talking and blabbering. And so is Eri. She's talking to them as well. And then all of a sudden, they hear a plop, like, sound. Not plop sound. Oh my goodness. They look over and they see a worm type thing scooting into the classroom. And everyone's freaked out, like, what the heck is that thing? And then Deku is just like, "Guys, it's a guy in a sleeping bag. Settle down." And Aizawa gets out of his sleeping bag and says, "It took like 8 seconds for you guys to shut up. That was too long. You want to be heroes, and you gotta be quiet and listen." And he pulls out one of the UA gym uniforms and says, "Put these on and meet me outside." So they Izuku grabs his uniform and runs to the locker room with all the other boys. And when they get in there, of course, Eri you know, she has to split up, so she goes with the girls, and in the girls' locker room, Izuku, oh my goodness, I can't believe I just said that, Eri is in there, and, you know, some of the girls trying to talk to her. She's like, okay, I'll try, and, you know, they're talking, and Eri does get a little bit closer to some of the classmates, which is good, because I'm not planning on making her follow Izuku around the whole time. It's kind of a little bit hard just to put her in every single part, so, you know. But, yeah. So, Izuku, with the boys, Izuku's, you know, changing. He takes off his shirt, and Kirishima, you know how Kirishima is. He's like, bro, where did he get those muscles, dude? Because he's ripped, like, completely ripped. And Izuku, he is just a little bit, sensitive about that topic. Because, you know, he did get his muscles from being experimented on. And Kachan knows this. So he looks at Kirishima and says, it's none of your business, now back off. And Kirishima is like, bro, that's not manly, dude. You don't have to be so mean. And as Kachan says, well, maybe you should stay out of other people's business. And Deku's like, you know, just stop, Bakugo, please. I mean, he just asked. I could have said that I didn't want to tell him. You know, you don't have to go that far. And Bakugo's like, yeah, whatever. And so they get outside, and Deku's the first one out there, so I was like, he might be worth keeping. And Izuku takes note to this. He's like, might be worth keeping, huh? That means I think he might be expelling someone. You know, Izuku's smart, so he's like, hey, crap. I had to get some teacher that's gonna try to expel people. This is gonna suck. Because, like, he knew Aizawa before, but, like, not well. He just met him a few times. Because they wanted to have him around. Wait, what the? No, never, what am I saying? I feel stupid now. As I was like, let's scratch that. Izuku walks outside, he sees Aizawa, and Aizawa says, so I assumed you'd be the first one out here. And, yeah, Izuku's friends with, well, you did train me, and I know how you are with patience, and you don't really have it that often. And he's also like, yeah, I know. So where's Eri? And Eri gets out there second because, you know, she's the second fastest because, you know, she wants to get out there and get beside Deku, and also she knows about how strict Aizawa is with time. So everyone gets out there. Kirishima does not like Deku. Not Deku. He does not really like Kirishima that much right now. Oh my goodness. Kirishima does not like Bakugo that much right now. Because he just kind of yelled at him for asking a simple question. But yeah. So Aizawa takes the ball. And he throws it to Izuku. And he says, you got first place in the exam. Throw the ball with your quirk. And he says, yeah, okay. Simple test like always. Because Izuku's done this test before. So Aizawa already knows what to expect, but he's trying to show the other students his competition. That they need to train harder. Because they're not going to be able to keep up with him if they don't. So he takes the ball. And he uses his dark manipulation, okay? And No, first he freezes time. He's going to do it for 25 seconds, but he freezes time. He uses dark manipulation, hits the ball, and even though they do have to stay inside the circle, Aizawa's not going to know if he leaves it. So he's just like, okay, he runs out of the circle and hits the ball again and again and again. Right before the time runs out, so he runs over back to the spot he was in. And it looks like he only hit it once, so it went flying, like, he got around 2,000 meters. Okay, 2,000. As you know, Izuku's gonna be, like, really strong because, you know, how that can be. And as I was like, Izuku, redo. And Izuku's like, what do you mean? And he says, I'm not an idiot. I could tell you used your time manipulation. You stepped out of the circle. Redo it. Izuku says, okay. I mean, I can get further doing it this way anyway. I just didn't feel like trying that often. Izuku, he is kind of lazy, you know. And so Aizawa gives him another ball and says to throw it properly this time, and so all your so all your classmates can see. So he takes the ball, and he uses his dark manipulation, and he seeps the darkness into his muscles and reinforcing them and making them like stronger and, you know, making it so he can throw further. He throws it. He gets 2,100 meters. Let's say that. Like, he gets over 100 meters what he had before. And I was like, see, you did better than time manipulation, so it's better to use that. And he's like, yeah, I know. And he looks at Aizawa and he says, yeah, I know, Dad. And everyone just, like, shocked, like, did he just say Dad? Like, seriously? And everyone's like, so he's your son? And I was like, yes, 2 people in here are my children. Not my blood-related children, but still my children nonetheless. And everyone's like wondering what the second person is. And Deku's like, hey, the person, second child, you know, Aizawa, my sister, in a way. Don't bother coming out. I mean, I know how you are, so you don't have to come out. They'll find out at some point, but nah, you don't have to come out now. And Aries like, I'm happy. Because she, like, was shy. She didn't want to, you know, go out there and everyone find out she's a teacher's daughter. And, yeah. So everything, like, going, and Izuku, like, secures top spot in every single one of them. Like, he's like, boom, gone. Because he can, like, reinforce his hand and make his grip stronger. The only thing he loses on would be the speed and the ball, because Uraraka gets infinity on that, and Ida can run pretty fast, so I'll say he gets second place in those. But other than that, he wins. He completely, because he can reinforce his feet to jump higher. He's more flexible than most people, so he can do a lot more. And let's say he also gets second place in the side-to-side jumping, because Mineta uses his balls to go back and forth like crazy. So after that, they all head back to class, and as I was like, okay, you guys all know more about your quirks now, each other's quirks now, and oh yeah, I forgot to tell you, he did say he's gonna expel someone, and I think I'm going to expel someone. It's not gonna be it's not gonna be Mineta, let's say, because I want him to be the comedy relief here. So I'm going to expel Invisible Girl, I'll expel her because, she doesn't really show up that often in the series, and, like, it's gonna be either Koda, I think it was, or, like, Koda, the guy that controls animals, or Invisible Girl, so, one of those two have to go, so I'll go with Invisible Girl, because, no offense to Invisible Girl, she isn't noticed half the time. Like, no joke. I actually a few times forgot she was even in the series until she popped up again. Kind of sad, but it's the truth. But, so he expels Invisible Girl, and Invisible Girl's, like, visibly sad. No pun intended, I just realized what I said. No pun intended. And Izuku, he feels bad for her, and he's like, Dad, why did he really have to expel her? And he says, if the student does not have the right way, does not show enough, enough promise to be a hero, then I'm going to expel them on the spot. That includes anyone here, even my own children, because, I have to discipline them, but I doubt I'll have to expel those two. And he walks off and tells everyone to meet in class, so they go in class, and, like, everyone's wondering, like, are they gonna get a new person in class? And everyone's like, okay, and we are gonna put a new person in class. And my like, favorite person, literally, he's, like, my second favorite person, maybe third, in the anime, and so he's, like, coming into this class, but not yet, he'll be coming in a few days, because they have to put in a request, and go through, and, all that stuff. But, so, like, they didn't have a full day today because, it's first day, so they had a half day, and they just learned a little bit. They didn't really do much, so after class, some girls invite Ari out to, dinner. Because, girls want to get together and have a girls' day. Or not really girls' day, but girls' afternoon. To, talk and get to know each other. And she's, kind of worried, I don't know if I want to go. And Izuku walks up and says, "Hey, Ari, I know you're shy right now, but you should probably go with them. I mean, you need to make some friends for girls. So, go have fun. And, don't worry. You already have my number, so you'll be able to call me if you need me. I'll come pick you up if you need any help." And she says, okay. And she leaves with the girls. And the girls are, asking her questions "Ooh, you know him? Is he your boyfriend?" And they're all, getting their face and everything. And she's like, "No, he's not my boyfriend. We're, brothers, pretty much." And she admits it, not even realize what she just said. And they say, "So you're Mr. Aizawa's you're Aizawa's second child, huh?" And she says, yeah, I am Aizawa's second child. But, yeah. So they have the girls out. I'm not gonna really get into much of that. They just do girl stuff, go shopping, and all that good stuff. But the guys, they didn't really think about hanging out, because, some of them didn't really want to. No one suggested it, so Izuku just walked off. And then, let's do a little time skip, not a huge one, just a few hours. Few-hour time skip. Eri comes home because she walks home by herself. Because she isn't helpless. She just prefers to be around Deku and feels safer. She gets home and she hugs Deku. She hugs him and says, "Yeah, I've done something like that in a long time without you being there." And he's like, "Yeah, I know you haven't, but we gotta get to bed because, we have school soon, tomorrow, again." So they go to bed, wake up the next morning, get ready for school, and they go to school again. And we're just gonna, say that today is we're gonna skip that day, skip a few days. Now we're gonna have not the USJ attack, but the heroes versus villains. And so they get into class, and we're gonna skip to where All Might shows up. So they're just stomping down the hallways. No one really thinks much of it until All Might pops in and says, "Come on, I'm coming to the door like a regular person," or like a real hero, or whatever he says. Whatever he says in canon. And he, just the same stuff, giving them their hero suits and everything. And he says, "Meet me outside after you put them on." And everyone's fanboying over it, fangirling and boying over him, being really happy that he, that's All Might teaching them. They're surprised, so they're happy. And Izuku, he's just whatever. Because Izuku knows him kind of, doesn't know him a lot, because he's talked to him a few times. They know each other enough to, know each other's names and who they are exactly, but they don't, know. Izuku doesn't know about Skelemite, as you could say. So, yeah. But, now, after everyone comes out, everyone's wearing the same costumes as in canon. Okay. But, here's what we're gonna do. Eri, sure is a little bit tricky. I don't really know what to think what she will be wearing. So, I'll just have her wear, let's say, what's someone with a hero suit and one day that, would work for her. Because I'm gonna take someone else's hero suit and just pick it up a little bit. So how about we let's take. Let me think here. I'm gonna pause the video. Oh, whoops. Pause the video. So, what Eri is wearing is those kind of dresses. It's not gonna be a dress, but those dresses that people wear to fancy places, kind of. That, not exactly poofy, just goes straight down. She's wearing kind of one of those, but not exactly, because it's going to be shorter. About down to where a skirt would be. And she's going to have a red lace thing around her waist that's going to tighten it to make sure, you know, she can jump higher and stuff without, you know, like coming up or anything. And she's going to be wearing, you know, like Izuku's shoes. Let's say that. Izuku's shoes. Like, kind of he wears in canon. And, you know, she's going to have a little headpiece that, you know, makes it look like she has a second horn, so it doesn't look so weird, you know? Makes it look a little bit more matching. Like in the picture, you see her horn? She'll have like one on the other side as well. That it's gonna look real, but it's not. She just felt like doing that. And Izuku. He walks out. Because, like, I don't really feel like changing up too much. We're gonna have him wear his, original one, kind of, except with a little bit of a difference. He's going to have the scarf, like Azawa, because she trained him in that, so he's going to have the scarf and the mask, but he'll also have goggles, because with his eye, he'll be able to teleport places, but people will be able to tell where he's teleporting when he's looking. But now he has goggles like Aizawa's goggles, except they're green. And he does have his mask piece. So he walks out, and everyone's like, his costume's pretty cool, but everyone's more fanboying over All Might still, you know? He's still there. He's number one hero, so. You know, people are gonna fanboy over him. And now, the teams. We're gonna say that it's Eri and Deku, because, you know, you're gonna have them on a team. Because that's gonna be OP, like, seriously. Against the team in canon, Bakugo. Not Bakugo. Let's go Ida and Ochako. So, they get ready and the villain team sets up the bomb because, you know, villain team's still gonna be Ida and Ochako. You know, well, not still, but Ida and then Ochako. But, yeah. Izuku, he's gonna be making a plan with Ochako. Not Ochako. Eri. And they're thinking, like, what should we do? What should we do? I don't know. So they're, like, thinking, and they're like, So, they're like, I doubt that Ochako's gonna run down here and try to take us out. The most likely one to do that would be Ida. But we're not sure if he would still charge down here. So, let's go in together to the right of the front door. Not front door, let's go to the back door. One of the side entrances, you know? They go in through one of the side entrances. And Izuku, you know, we're gonna say that he can also have like a little heat sensor in his eye, okay? So he can tell, like, heat sense, body heat, you know? So he's looking for that, and he sees it on the 3rd floor. So he, slowly makes his way up there, trying not to be noticed, and when he gets over there, he peeks through the door, and he sees Ida and Ochako. And he notices that Ochako had floated a bunch of stuff right above the door, so when someone walked in, she could drop it on them. He's like, so that's her plan, huh? And Izuku is like, hey, Eri, I have a plan, but okay, we're gonna have to use a quirk for it. And she's visibly confused because she's like, what are we supposed to use my quirk for? I haven't even touched him. And she's like, well, you have pretty good control of your quirk now, and you can do it in a certain area. So, what they have her do is she makes a, hole in the ground by turning it back into, liquid concrete, the bottom. So, and then Deku, he walks over the door. He doesn't walk through it because he knows that stuff is above it, and he knows if he walks through, he's probably going to get hit by it, and he'd rather not deal with that. But he goes and peeks on the door and says, hey, dummies, how about you come get me instead of being some wuss? And Ida sees him, and he's like, I ain't falling for your villain trick. And Izuku responds with, fine, I guess I'll go sit in one of the desks, and walks away. Ida's like, no, you must respect slow property! And starts running at him, And he, like a dum-dum, he doesn't look where he's going and falls in the hole. And the thing is, at the bottom of the hole, like the hole in the floor, the cement did get turned into liquid, so it's at the bottom of the ground. And he gets stuck in it, and now he can no longer get moved. he can no longer move because Eri, she turned it back into cement when he landed in it. So now he's stuck in it, and Deku's like, yes, he fell for it. So he goes in the room with Ochako. He slips through, because she sees him, but he was too fast and moved before the stuff fell. So that didn't affect him. And she comes at him, running at him, like trying to make him float. And when she tries to, he just makes some black manipulation and makes the net gun, a net gun, because he can make random stuff out of it and launch stuff, So he makes a net gun and just traps her under a net. And keep in mind, he can make as much of this stuff as he wants, just he can't keep too much on his body. Otherwise, it will make him, lose himself to where he does not know what he's doing anymore, and he'll attack anything in his way, just like a Nomu almost. He won't even be, there. It happened to him once when he was little, and Eri saved him from it because she hugged him and stopped him. But, it's dangerous. So he only used a little bit. But he walks over and touches the bomb, and All Might saying, and the hero team wins! And they walk into the place where everyone's standing. Everyone's amazed about Deku and Eri because they worked together like there was no problem. And All Might be surprised too, even though he knows that they've probably been training together for a long time, so they know each other in and out. And then All Might saying, does anyone, he says, Yairo's a Momo. How about you say, who the MVP is here? And then she says, well, I personally think the MVP here would probably be Deku. Because, she says Midoriya. She says, Midoriya. I think, let's just say Aizawa, actually, because his last name's just Aizawa now. So she says, so I think it would be Aizawa. And everyone's like, yeah, probably. And she explains, how he came up with a plan. They were walking through. He used his heat sense thing to find them. And then he made sure he peeked in without them noticing and then made a trap for Ida. And used Ida's weaknesses to his advantage. And then easily took over Ochako without hurting her. Without hurting her too bad. And easily caught the bomb without endangering the building or the bomb. So, he's the MVP. Even though Eri may have stopped one of the villains, it was all Izuku's doing because he came up with a plan. Everyone's like, yeah. And, we're just gonna skip past all of that. Everything goes like in canon because I don't feel like going through all that stuff. Yeah. So, yeah. Tired. Sorry. But Izuku, he, walks off and he's very happy that he was able to do that stuff. And they go home. They go back to school, and one day, Izuku's just, sitting there eating lunch, and Eri walks over after she grabbed her stuff and came over and sat by him. They were just eating together when a bunch of people come over and asked, to sit with him. And Eri and Deku's like, sure. Eri was a little bit hesitant, because you know how Eri is. But the ones that came over were Kirishima, Bakugo, no, let's say Bakugo's already over there, and Kirishima, Ida, Kaminari, and Sarah come over, and Dark Shadow, not Dark Shadow, well, the guy with Dark Shadow, I forgot his name, but they come over, and they're like, can we sit with you? And they're like, yeah, come and sit down, and not Kaminari, Kirishima's like, hey, Baku bro, I would like to apologize, for getting angry at you for asking that question. I probably shouldn't have because, something bad could have happened and I'm sorry for asking. And he's like, yeah, whatever, crappy hair, because, I'm not going to swear. But he's like, yeah, whatever, crappy hair. And he's like, that's kind of mean, bro. And he's like, yeah, I know, that's the point. And he just says, better just not speak of just don't speak to him too much because he's not comfortable with that kind of stuff. So that's all. Let's just stop talking about it because, I don't want to sound, so let's just go. And they're just talking, and they get to know each other. That's his friend group, is those guys. And Eri gets invited over to another table, and Izuku's like, you should go over there because it's the girls that I invited her. And they go over, she goes over and just hangs out with the girls. So now, like, she's starting to hang out with other people other than Izuku for once. Which Izuku is kind of happy about because he doesn't want someone clinging to him all the time. But he's also sad about it because, Eri and him were so close, and they're still really close, Eri just hangs out with other people a little bit more than she usually does. And, let's do a time skip. USJ attack. So, Misawa walks into the room, and he says, we're going to the USJ, so everyone put on your hero costumes and meet me outside. Everyone meets outside, and we're like ready to get in the bus, but then Ida's like, everyone in a single file line. Make sure it's from A to Z, and all that crap, get on the bus, and they're talking about Quirk, Suyu. It's like, ask Deku, like, what's your quirk anyways? Izuku's, she explains about the dark and the dark, about the dark manipulation, and about his, eye and how he can control time a little bit. Everyone's amazed, and they're like, but those two don't seem similar. Do you have two quirks? And he's like, that's none of your business. I'd rather not talking about it. He's like, I'd rather not talk about that. And everyone just kind of shuts up because, they're a little bit, what do you call it? Nervous because Izuku, gave him kind of a glare when they asked him that. He didn't mean to, but he accidentally did because, he just isn't comfortable with that. And Eri's just like, can we not talk about that either? I'd rather not get into that. And, they're all like, okay. And, they get to USJ. And they're just standing there. And Izuku and everyone, they're ready to go in. So they walk in, and Aizawa and 13 give our whole speech about how All Might is just late, and he's supposed to be here, but yeah. And they're like, quirks be used for good and evil, and Izuku knows this quite well from Overhaul and All Might, because they're completely different people. One wants to destroy quirks, and one wants to make them better and make better heroes. Yeah. So, they get in there, and they're walking down the stairs, when a purple portal or something opens up. But no one notices it for Kirishima. He's like, bro, you guys hired fake villains? That's awesome! And so I was like, those are not fake villains, those are real villains. 13, protect the children. I'll go and take care of that. And they run down, he runs down and starts beating up the villains, and 13 says, we gotta get out of here. And they're about to run to the door, including Izuku, because, he does follow Aizawa's rules, but he's, hesitant for a second, because he doesn't want to leave Aizawa alone with all those villains. But then a purple portal opens up in front of everyone and says, it's Kirigiri. He says, you think I'm gonna let you guys fall into our plans? Think again. And he's about to consume them. But Izuku, he takes time back 5 seconds, and he runs ahead of them, and everyone's like, what? Is he trying to get out before all of us? Just leave us? And that's what they're thinking. All of a sudden, a purple portal opens up, and Izuku's already about to kick this spot where the guy's head appeared, because he knew where the weak spot was when he saw it, because he saw it when he was, before he rewinded the time. So he kicks it, and the guy goes flying, And everyone's astonished, what? And Suyu remembers he probably rewinded the time back, because he kicked exactly where the guy would be. And everyone's like, yeah, probably. But, they don't say that, they're just thinking, yeah. But Izuku, he's like, what is your guys' objective here? And Kirigiri says, that's none of your business, kid. They're like, yeah. Kirigiri's trying to take on Deku, and Bakugo and Kirishima butt in and take him down. Easy. By getting to his weak spot. Because Deku, he is a bit lacking in speed. No, not speed. He's a little bit lacking when it comes to taking on that kind of villain, because, his black manipulation just cancels each other out when they attack each other, because, Kirigiri can consume his whole body with it and use it as a teleport. Which Izuku could do, but if he did it, he would go out of control. And Kirigiri knows this because he knows that Izuku's like him a lot. Because when Kirigiri was younger, he would go out of control too. And that's why people call him a monster, and maybe that's why he became a villain. But then you hear a maniacal laugh like, ha 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 ha. Sorry, that's horrible. He's like, ha 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 ha. This thing was meant to kill All Might. You think you're gonna be able to take it on? You know, maniacal laughs from Shigaraki, and you know his arrogance, and Aizawa is being pinned down by the Nomu at this point, and Izuku sees this, and he's like, No, I ain't losing another loved one. I ain't losing my family again. He jumps down like really fast because he's getting mad, so he used a little bit more black manipulation than usual, so he does make enough to make 2 small black wings, but just enough to repel him just a little bit, but not too much. And he gets over there, he tries to punch the Nomu. He punches it, but the Nomu's just sitting there, like, bruh, you're a baby, you know, even though that punch would probably have knocked out Bakugo himself with one punch, if he would have hit him in the face with it. So you know it was pretty strong. It's a Nomu, you know. And Izuku's like astonished, like, how did this guy survive and not survive? How's this guy still standing? He didn't even flinch. And Izuku's like really worried right now. So he backs up. His only objective right now is to get the Nomu off of Aizawa. So Izuku, he's like, what can I do to get him off? And he sees Shigaraki, he's like, maybe this will work. And he goes and tries to attack Shigaraki. He's about to hit him, and Nomu steps right in front of him, and the Nomu takes the hit. And does nothing, just nothing. Like a little cut, but other than that, it just regens and nothing happens. And then Shigaraki's like, you dare attack me? Ah, Nomu, kill him. And Nomu punches Deku, and he goes flying into one of the walls. And everyone's just watching this from above because Kirishima and Bakugo are holding off that villain. He's down because, you know, Bakugo's using explosions a lot to make sure he can't move. So yeah. And everyone sees Deku go flying. And Aizawa is trying to get up, but he's like seriously injured. So, and everyone does not get separated in this because Izuku took initiative. And, well, he goes flying, and then the Nomu doesn't attack again because he thinks he's dead, because he hit him pretty hard. And then he goes over to the Aizawa, picks him up, and throws him as hard as he can. And Izuku, he gets up right before the Nomu throws the guy, but he sees Aizawa getting thrown. And Aizawa gets thrown right into the stairs. And Izuku got enraged by this, and he was mad. He tried to attack the thing again, tried to hit it, but Izuku got hit again, and went flying up where the students are. And Eri runs over to him, he's like, Izuku, are you okay? And Eri rewinds him back into his perfect condition. And he's just like, yeah, I'm okay. But we need to get out of here. Get everyone out of here. Ida, you need to run and get some of the teachers. Now. I'll try to hold the Nomu off. And everyone else, you try to get out of here. Bakugo, you keep that villain. Not Bakugo. Kachan, you keep that villain down while everyone else gets out. And when you get the chance, get out of here yourself. Everyone's like, what about you? And there's like, I'll hold off that thing. But one of you guys need to grab Aizawa and get out of here. And everyone's just like, but why? We can't leave you. And he just says, well, you're gonna have to, and jumps down. And Eri doesn't want to leave him, but, let's say that muscle dude, like sugary dude, grabs her and pulls her out. Like he's pulling her, even though she's trying to go and save him, even though she couldn't really do much. Like, she could, but it would probably cost her life, because she has to touch the Nomu in order to do it. And she honestly isn't that fast. And he goes down, but he's about to fight the thing. But Eri, she slips out of his grip and he runs down to help Izuku. Oh, and oh my goodness, what was about to happen is making it. It's going to make Izuku enraged. So enraged that he's going to lose control. Eri runs down. And she catches up with Deku because Deku slowed down and stopped because he saw the Nomu and he was trying to come up with a strategy to beat the Nomu. When Eri caught up, he's like, what are you doing here? You can't be here. And Eri's like, I don't care. I ain't losing you alone. And not Shizuki. Shigaraki notices the horn on the girl. And he's just like, so you're that Shizuki guy's little brat, huh? That means the other guy must be his other test subject, or was. And they're like, how do you know us about him? And he explains, like, we were planning on a collaboration of sorts. We were planning on taking down All Might together. But we had a traitor in our midst, and they took down that place. So, you should be thanking me and my group because some traitor here saved you. Without them, you'd probably be in worse pain than you were before. And Izuku's like, why? Why do you do this? I can't believe people like you. And he's mad. But then Shigaraki goes, hey, Nomu, kill the girl. And the Nomu charges at the girl. And Izuku's like, I'm not letting you touch her, and jumps in the way, but the Nomu grabs Izuku and just tosses him aside and punches Eri, okay? She's not going to die. Just let you know, she's not going to die. But she does take a pretty good hit and gets really badly injured. And Izuku sees this and he thinks she's dead. Because like she's limp. She's not moving. And he's just like, how dare you? How dare you hurt her? And he starts getting really angry. And Shigaraki's like, so what? What are you gonna do about it, kid? It's not like, you're gonna be able to save her. I mean, I might be able to make some good money off of her, if you know what I mean. And Izuku's like, how dare you? Don't you ever speak of her again. And he's getting really angry. And blackness starts filling up his body, and students are just about to get out. They're not completely out yet. Because they had a little bit of trouble with Kurogiri up there. But before they get out, they see Izuku completely covered in dark black. Like fire almost, but it's not fire. It's his black darkness. Kind of like how... what's her face? Like how... Tokiyami, yeah, Tokiyami. Like how Tokiyami is. So, he's fighting the Nomu, and he's going like fist to fist, like head to head, you know, fighting. And he's doing pretty good. I mean, he isn't doing that good. Not enough to defeat the Nomu. He's just going to be enough to hold him back, because we're not having Deku powerful enough just to destroy the Nomu. And Deku, he's fighting the guy, and he's enraged, trying to fight him. And as All Might shows up, and he's outside, because everyone else has gone outside, and he's like, so, what happened here? And he's hearing clashing inside the building. He's like, what's going on? And Bakugo is, not Bakugo, Kirishima runs to All Might and says, All Might, Izuku's in there fighting something in there. I'm not sure what it is, but it's really strong. It did that to Aizawa. And he looks over and sees Aizawa beaten to a pulp. And sees 13 hurt because, let's say like, Nomu hit her once. Okay, let's just say that. And he's like enraged. He's mad because like Aizawa's one of his best friends. And he runs in there and sees Izuku fighting the thing. Izuku gets hit and goes flying out of the USJ, you know? Not like a Nomu did when All Might did that smash. That was crazy. But enough to make him go flying out to where the students are. And All Might rushes in. And he has an easier time this time because, just because of the fact that Izuku, wasn't just fighting it senseless. He had a little bit of control. Barely any, though. And he did seep some of the blackness into the Nomu, which did infect his regeneration, so he can't regen anymore. So All Might usually takes care of him, and it does his, like, Detroit Smash, or something like that. However he did it with the punch that sent the Nomu flying out of the USJ. And All Might runs out, and Izuku's still on the ground. He hasn't moved yet, and, like, the girls and guys in UA and 1A run over, and they're trying to help him. And he's still covered in the black mist, and Aizawa knows what's going to happen if they get too close to him. And Aizawa's like, "Don't you touch him!" And everyone's like, "Why?" And Eri steps in front of him and says, "Everyone, you need to get back now." And Izuku, he starts getting up. And Kirishima runs over to him and says, "Man, you're okay, dude." And since Kirishima was still on his hard mode with his rock hard body, that sounded really weird. But yeah, with his hardness of the skin on already still, and Izuku punches him because Izuku lost control completely now. And no, Eri does not run up to him, but someone runs up to them and says, like, "Just gotta stay back." And everything happens with Kirishima with him punching Kirishima. And All Might is carrying Eri out of the USJ because she did get sent into the stairs. So she's hurt. And everyone's like freaked out why Izuku just punched Kirishima. He went flying. I mean, he went flying like 30 feet. And everyone's like, "Why are you doing this?" And Ida's like, "So, you're not a UA student after all. You're some villain, aren't you?" Because everyone's getting mad at him. And Aizawa's like, he's not a villain. But, like, Aizawa gets up because he's really hurt still, but he gets up and tries to erase Izuku's Quirk. Erases it for a split second, giving All Might enough time to restrain him. And everyone's like, "What do you mean? You mean he just attacked Kirishima?" And I was like, that's part of his power. It's kind of like Tokiyami's in a way, except it's not living. But when he gets mad, too mad, it takes over, and he'll attack like a senseless beast. He did it once, and only once. If it weren't for Eri, he would have killed so many. Because, like, not even pros could stop him. All Might wasn't around at the time, so All Might could have stopped him, but he wasn't around. And he almost killed a few people. He was about to hit him, but Eri jumped in the way and hugged Izuku and saved him. Izuku just, like, turns back into his normal form completely because he's being held down, and the blackness gives up. Izuku's knocked out, so they go to the hospital. Izuku's in the hospital, and for a few days he was asleep, and Eri is kind of worried about him. And Izuku, he wakes up to see Eri, Aizawa, and let's go with Tokoyami. Just because, Tokoyami has questions, and he just wanted to wait for Izuku to wake up. And Tokoyami is actually going to train Izuku. Surprisingly, But we're not into that yet. So, Deku wakes up and he sees them, and he's like, so what happened? Did I hurt anyone? Because he knows what happened. He knows that the darkness took over. He just doesn't know if he hurt anyone. And then Eraserhead is like, no, thankfully. But the only people you did hurt were the villains, which doesn't really matter that much because you didn't kill any of them. You just hurt them enough to keep them down. And you stalled for All Might, and you actually saved All Might a bunch of work because you see some black stuff into the Nomu, and it stopped his regeneration, which was surprising. So apparently you can erase quarks, kind of. I don't know if it's permanent, so you probably shouldn't use it against humans yet until we figure it out. He's surprised, like, oh my goodness. He's happy he didn't hurt anyone, though. And Eri walks up to me and hugs him and says, I'm happy you're okay. And then she says, you're a dumb idiot. And Izuku's like, what did I do this time? And like, Eri is usually really shy, but she's just like screaming at him, saying like, what if you would have died? You shouldn't have gone alone. You should have waited for help or someone to help you. And Izuku's like, I'm sorry, yeah, I'll try better next time. And Eri's like, you better, or I'll scream at you and slap you next time. And Izuku's like, oh god, no. Because Izuku's been slapped by her before. Let's just say, like, he walked into her on the bathroom on accident, and she slapped him, and it hurts. Like, her slaps hurt. But, yeah. And, yeah. So, we're gonna end the video right there. Like I said, let's wait. We'll do a little bit longer. It's gonna be, like, a minute longer only. So, Izuku, he heads home after he gets discharged from the hospital. And he's, like, thinking, like, this is gonna take forever to explain to my classmates. I mean, some of them might even hate me. He's kind of, like, worrying about that, but he's just like, I'll figure it out tomorrow. He lays down, and he falls asleep. And that's where we're going to end it. Right there, even though it wasn't even close to being 1 minute longer, but, you know. But I hope you guys liked the video, and if you did, like, subscribe, and leave a comment. And don't forget, I am still looking for thumbnails and intros for my videos. Don't forget that, please. And I hope you guys liked it. I mean, I personally think it sucked, but that's my opinion, not your guys'. And I hope that it meets standards. I mean, it isn't going to be as good as someone like Blue Crown or someone like that, but, you know, it works. Well, I hope you guys have a good one. And I will